oil change. Step one, you want to get ramps. You want to get the car on the ramps. If you got chucks, put the chucks on the back wheel, pull the parking brake up, and well, this isn't the safest, but most of the wheel is on, so that's not too bad. Next step, you want gloves, right? Then you're gonna want some tools so you can get that oil plug off. You're gonna need a synthetic motor oil. We'll go with Amsoil. Filter, got that here. This is to get the old one off. Okay, and this really cool BMS one we're gonna replace the stock plastic one with, and that's because I don't want the oil cap breaking. So let's get to work. Step one, if you have the same model car that I do, you are going to pull that twice to let it go. Okay, the struts are holding. That's good. We're going for a quick oil change this time because I tend to get carried away, and you can see I did quite a bit of damage to this plastic thing. That's why, another reason why I'm replacing it. But I tend to get carried away. The only thing is you do want to clean this area and this area because you don't want dust falling into the engine. Okay, get the right socket. I believe this is 17 millimeter on this one, like that. Sorry, I don't really have the best tools in terms of camera equipment, so we'll be draining it from here, and I'm gonna put the camera down. The oil is hot, so I recommend gloves. Okay, here we go. Drain the oil. I got the plug right here. We're going to open the cap. This is to allow air into the system while it's draining. Oh. Yeah, we can see the oil coming down over there. So I wasn't clear while I was under there. And so the next step is going to be to undo that filter, and I need to clean the oil off my gloves first. The old one, we're going to need this adapter, which I'm hoping to get rid of once I have this. So we got these pliers, and everything is like super hot. Okay, so I can hear the air kind of coming in. So don't have to worry about making a mess too much because you're gonna have to clean that up anyway. All right, here we go. And the filter looks to be in pretty good shape. I don't go too long between oil changes. Everything's really hot though. Okay, so I'm just gonna put that down over there. The filter looks pretty clean. It's a good filter. Okay, so I've run into a real big snag, and that's you're supposed to take this plastic part out and fit it inside the aluminum one. I cannot get this part out. I've been struggling real hard. Piece of plastic even broke it off in there. I don't know if you can see it, center of the screen. That's not good, but I made sure it came out of the container, fell on the ground over there, but I need to get this part out in order to put it in there. I should have just bought a new piece. I didn't really think it would be this much of a struggle, but here we go. So the trick to these is to pull to the side a little bit and then pull, and it takes quite a bit of force, but I finally got it out. So now I'm going to install this in here. And I believe it's just a press fit where you just press it down and it should go on. Yes, I'm missing a little plastic one over here due to the force that it took to remove it, but I do think it's going to be okay. It's just one out of a whole circle. But next time I will get one of these to replace this next oil change I do. I don't think that's going to be an issue. I'm pretty sure it's not. So I'm comfortable doing this. If you're not, then you might as well learn from my mistake. And when you get one of these, which the goal is for me to lower the temperature of the oil, because I think that's very important for the longevity of the engine. A few light taps from the rubber hammer that I have over there. I didn't film it because I needed 2 hands for that, but it's not really hard. You hit on the sides over here, don't hit the top. hit on the sides lightly, gently, and you will see the teeth sort of, I don't know if you can see them in there, they will come out, and this should just be even all around, and you want them to sort of pop in and be even, and you'll see that it's even when you look at it like this. That's how you know that you've done a proper installation. And also you'll see when the filter pops in whether it's even. Now the next step is to put on these little grommets. Okay, nothing complicated here. You just slip the rubber. There's a groove right here. You slip it in here, and then you slip the other little red one on the tip. I like that they're red because you're less likely to forget to change them when you're doing an oil change, and you can look from the top. So I'm going to try to hold it up so you can see that it's even on all sides. And I think, let me check that it's clear over there. And we can pretty much just screw that right in. Alright, so 3/4. I don't know why it wouldn't be a metric one. Switch to righty-tighty. Now you could do the Newton meters, which is 25 Newton meters, but I just do it until the gap disappears right there. And that's it, it's just tight. And what you could do is next time, it just, that's it. It just won't go anymore, so there's no kind of mistaking it. And it's already hot. It's absorbing heat from this and transferring it into here. So my hope is that these extra fins will, one, take away more heat from the engine and cool it, and two, also prevent this from cracking and spilling oil everywhere. So those are my two goals. Now let's get under the car, and we had a 17 millimeter in there, so we just have to replace the thing. Take off the old copper crush washer, put on the new one. Oop. Okay, now we just gotta kind of, it's still dripping, but you know, what are you gonna do? I don't know. So at this point, it's been quite a while, so we're just gonna tighten that by hand. I was wearing gloves, but the gloves are making me sweat so much that water was pouring out. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna need two hands here. Stop recording. For some reason, I think I clicked on something. But basically, I just tightened it until it felt like it wouldn't spin anymore without using an insane amount of force. That's really what I'm going for, just tight enough, basically. You know, you kind of have to use your judgment there unless you want to use a torque wrench, and you know, by all means, go ahead and do that if you have a torque wrench and you want to employ it. It's the more professional way to do it. Pop. Probably not going to put all of this in, but maybe I'll leave 1 quart and then I'll start the car and see how much more it needs. The final step is to do a cleanup, inspect that you did not forget anything, including putting on the oil cap. Okay, that clicked well. Okay, cleaned everything up. This is tight. Everything's tight. I might need to add more oil, but we need to test for that first, right? Vehicle info. Vehicle status. Go to engine oil level. This is okay. Measure. Start measurement. Okay, because you have to be in park. So now it's going to go through this procedure, which I'm not going to bore you with, because you might have seen it in my last video. And we're just going to pause, and I'll come back when it's done. Okay, so you can see that the oil engine is at, so it's saying add 1 quart. So that's perfect. I didn't want to have too much. Last time I had max, and I suspect it was even over max, but there was no way for it to measure. So that's okay. Now what we're going to do is, it makes sense that it's a quart low, but given that the engine's never really empty, even when you drain the oil, I was worried that there would be too much oil in there, right? And too much oil is just as bad as too little oil. It's slightly less worse, less bad, because too much oil can hurt the engine over time, but most likely it's just going to affect your fuel economy, but not much more than that. How much is left? I don't think there's any left in there now. Very little. It's on the bottom to the point where you can't even measure it. So we didn't put exactly a quart in. I put a little bit less, but now it's saying that the engine level is okay. There's a tiny bit left in that container, so I know I didn't overfill, and that's kind of what I want to hear. The engine actually sounds really quiet now, and that's probably just the new oil. Amsoil is supposed to be very good. I don't think I've heard this car ever run this smooth. I've never tried Amsoil in any of my vehicles before, so this is a first for me, and I'm not endorsed by Amsoil. I mean, I wish I was, but I'm not. So here we go. The engine sounds very smooth. This is a direct injection rather, so this engine tends to run a little louder than this usually. So this actually sounds really quiet, really nice. Sorry, I just did it. Basically what you do, I forgot how to do this, you don't step on the brake so the car doesn't start. You push the start stop button, then you hold this down, and I'll show you here live. And it'll go into kind of like, so the engine's not running. There we go. Okay, so brake fluid. I just did the brake fluid the other day, so I'm gonna do this too. Oops, wait, you gotta kind of cycle through these. So I'll hold that, and it'll say reset possible, reset, and then you let go, and then you hold it again, and then the reset's in progress. So you just do the same thing but with the oil. So I just did that. That's also been reset. So now I just did the engine oil, so that's all good. All right, so that's it. That's how you change the oil and reset it. And here we're back to 0. It's gonna count down. I actually did the oil change after only 4,000 miles, but because of COVID, I haven't been driving. So even though the car had 4,000 miles since its last oil change, it's been over a year since I did my last oil change, I believe. And that's only because I had really good synthetic quality oil in there. I knew it wouldn't go bad, and I hadn't been driving it very much. But now that I'm driving it to work every day, I decided this was necessary. So thanks for watching, guys.